Hello, this is Willy. After the first and second parts of the Undecember guide, I've now created the third part. In the first part, I focused on how to start the game and progress through the acts. In the second part, I introduced various contents at the entrance to Saluto. In this third part, I'll explain how to increase your attack. Since this video is meant for beginners, I haven't included any complex or difficult topics. Honestly, there are still many things I don't fully understand myself. Now, let's get straight to the point and talk about how to increase your attack. After that, I'll explain each method in detail one by one. First, there are several ways to increase your attack. The first is through weapon crafting, enchant, or by purchasing items at the trading post. The second is the zodiac. Sadly, many people aren't properly setting up the zodiac. Seems that they're choosing whatever is easiest, and this leads to inefficient results. The third method is equipping Lacrima. For ways to obtain Lacrima, check out the second guide. In this video, I'll explain which Lacrima to equip and how to do it. The fourth is using charms to find the right one for yourself, how to amplify charms, and how to strengthen charm slots. The fifth method is equipping jewels. You can either buy them through the trading post or obtain them through minecart. I thought including all 5 methods in one video would make it too long, so in this video, I'll explain the first method, weapon enchanting. I'll cover the remaining 4 methods in a future video. Now let's dive into the first method, crafting weapons. The materials you need are either a 34 tier or 35 tier weapon, and the item level needs to be 165. To obtain it, what do you need to do? Unfortunately, we beginners can't access the higher tier maps just yet. For example, to obtain a 165 level item with the 10 tier chaos card, you need to reach level 31 to acquire 165 level items. So you might wonder, what should I do? It's time to sell the essences you've collected. Essences that change prefix or suffix options are needed for weapon crafting, so keep those. If you have Trigger Rune Change Essence, Unique Change Essence or Vesper Essence, you can sell them at the trading post. With the rubies you get, you can buy a 165 level item from the trading post. You'll notice the minimum and maximum damage values when you click the magnifying glass, and you'll want to buy the highest possible damage output. The reason you want a 165 level item is that the higher the item level, the better the tier options will appear. Currently the maximum item level is 165, so it's best to prepare a 165 level item. Next, decide on the options you need. Choose the authority prefix option and then pick the general prefix and suffix options, and you'll want to buy the highest possible damage output. Let me use my gear as an example. First, the authority option is the one outlined in blue. A more precise way to check is by going into enchant, registering any weapon in the slot, selecting the authority essence, and clicking the select authority. Here you'll see options for each authority. You should look specifically at the authority prefix options, not the authority unique options. For example, I chose damage amplification if my strength, dexterity and intelligence are all above 200. There are various other options available, so it's not a strict rule to pick this one. It's just an example. For the general prefix options, I chose speed and weapon attack and spell damage, and for the suffix options, I want weapon attack and spell damage, attack critical rate, and attack critical damage. If I don't get all 3 suffix options, that's okay. I will proceed with the mindset that it's sufficient if at least 2 of these options appear. Before starting the crafting, there will be a truly wide variety of essences. It would be too lengthy to explain all of this in one video. The types and roles of all essences will be covered in the next video, so this time I will only explain the necessary essences. First, use the authority essence for the desired option. If the item is not rare, use a rare upgrade essence to turn it into a rare item. Then, use an Alyssa essence to boost the authority options. The Alyssa essence can lock one option you want, while the others will be random. It's typically used when you need rare options with lower chances. In my case, I used Alyssa essence to boost damage amplification when my strength, dexterity and intelligence are all over 200, while checking for other options at the same time. At this point, let's look at the rest of the options. The rest of the options are pretty terrible, so I'll use the Alyssa essence again. If you don't have enough Alyssa essences, you can always use the rare birth essence to keep re-rolling. You can even set it to auto run until you get the desired option appears. Of course, that will cost more resources and currency. If there are any empty spaces in the prefix, fill them with the rare imbue essence. If you don't like certain options, use the prefix option removal essence. If you're not happy with all options, try using the Alyssa essence again and continue to use the prefix option removal essence and do the process until the options are there as you wish. Once you get the 3 desired prefix options, here's the tricky part. Vesper Essence. These essences allow you to change the tiers of your options randomly without affecting the options themselves. However, it's not easy to get high tier changes. Luck matters here. Some get a high tier change in just one go, while others may need to use dozens of Vesper Essence. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the season, Vesper Essence is expensive, so a bit of compromise is necessary. Now, with only the prefix options available, either you are going to use the suffix removal essence to remove all suffixes and keep just 3, then use 3 option Vesper, or you are going to bring out all 3 suffix options and use 6 option Vesper Essence. There are many opinions on this, but as beginners, it's better to aim for the 3 prefix options first. If you have enough rubies, you can try for the suffix as well. Now, once your prefix is set, you're ready for the suffix. Because you want the tier to be higher, you end up spending more resources. If you want most options to be high tier, use that 3 prefix option method. Now let's go back to crafting. If you have managed to get all 3 prefix options, it's now time to focus on suffixes. First, remember the suffix options you want, and this time without using other essences, we are going to use only the suffix option birth essence, suffix removal essence, and rare imbue essence. With suffix option birth essence, we will randomly generate 3 suffixes. If there are empty slots in the suffix that didn't appear, you can use the rare imbue essence to fill them. And if in the process you're happy with 2 options but not 1, you can use the suffix removal essence. If you're happy with 2 options but not the 3rd, use the suffix removal essence again, and keep re-rolling until you get what you want. The process is quite random, so you'll need to keep at it until you get the ideal results. We now have the 6 desired options. While it appeared briefly in the video, it actually consumed a lot of costs. For the prefix, we have DMG amplification when strength, dexterity and intelligence over 200. Speed and weapon attack and spell DMG. For the suffix, we have gear critical rate, attack and spell damage, and maximized damage. I wanted critical damage instead of maximized damage, but since I can later craft maximized damage into damage amplification, I'll settle for this for now. Now let's use the Vesper essence. Getting a 6 option Vesper is really rare. The 3 option Vesper mentioned earlier is comparatively easier to get because it only has 3 options. But getting a 6 option Vesper is extremely rare. So rather than aiming for every tier to be high, I'll just pray that at least 3 of these options will be high tier. The goal is to get the first authority option at tier 14, 2 attack and spell damage options at tier 13, and maximized damage at tier 13 or higher. If Vesper Essence is running low, you can always compromise on lower values. Now, we're out of Vesper. For now, this should be good for the early stages. The attack and spell damage is a bit low, but if you're using an obtained weapon, this is still great, so I'll stop here. Next, if you look at the item option values, they're random. If you click the magnifying glass, you'll see the lowest and highest values for those options. If you use the rare change essence, you can randomly change these values. Keep changing it until you get the desired values. Since this is a test video, I'll just hope that the first amplification option comes out near the highest value. Ideally, I hope all options improve evenly. For now, I'll stop here, and then I'll upgrade it to Legendary. The essence I'll use for this is the Legendary Upgrade Essence. Once all the options are set and the tier work with Vesper Essence is done, and you've adjusted the values with Rare Change Essence to your satisfaction, you can now use the Legendary Upgrade Essence. The legendary options will appear randomly, 1 or 2 at a time. It's great if the legendary options come out well, but don't be disappointed if they don't. Later, you can use the legendary reversion essence to remove the legendary options and try for better ones. Once you've got the legendary options, there's still some quality work left to do. Quality boosts the attack power of the weapon, so it's essential for weapons. You can do the quality work first or save it for the end. It doesn't matter. If you use the quality birth essence, the value will be between 0 and 10. Set it to around 8 in continuous mode and click OK. As you keep processing it, if a number falls between 8 and 10, you stop. I am happy with 8 and will then use the quality modification essence. The quality modification essence ranges from -10 to +20. It really increases significantly. At this point, it's a personal choice. I will use it only if it's +10 or higher. Let me carefully clicking it one by one. Wow, I got 17. The value in the parentheses shows the value from the quality modification essence. To change the last unique option, I'll use the Authority Essence. At this point, you must have already upgraded to Legendary. If you use it before upgrading to Legendary, all the options will be wiped out. So make sure to apply the Legendary Essence first. Now let me click the Authority Essence again. When you check the Authority options for Seftar, you'll see that the first one is the item quality, the gear item quality. When you click it, it will be random between 3 and 6. You'll need to use Seftar's Authority Essence until you get a quality of 5 or 6. If you're low on Authority Essences, you can gather more later. By clicking like this, the quality options will also appear randomly. If I keep applying it, I'll stop when it reaches 5 or 6. It can show up quickly or take a long time. Now we've finished creating the weapon. Of course, with the Ancient Upgrade Essence, you can upgrade the weapon to purple and add 2 powerful Ancient options under the Legendary options. You can add 2 Ancient options under the Legendary ones. But since Ancient Upgrade Essences are expensive, if you want to work on Ancient level items, the item options or tier of Legendary options need to be more refined. So for beginners like us, it's best to be satisfied with Legendary options and focus on hunting. That's the detailed explanation for crafting. For those who still don't understand, you can always search the trading post for weapons with the specific options you want and buy them. This video was about crafting weapons, and I'll create the next video covering the 4 other methods and post it soon. That's all for today's beginner's guide video. Thank you, and this was Willy. Likes, comments and subscriptions are a huge help to the create more videos. Thanks again.